to break it down. Austin, may I squeeze in here? And anybody who else is, any of the Marxist-minded officials in the administration, so maybe you can understand it. It's not a tax cut of $100,000. The GOP plan is that, again, nobody would increase taxes by another $100,000. Now, what do these evil people that make $1 million a year, what do? Well, they certainly don't start businesses. No. They certainly don't hire people. No. They have a monocle and a cigar, and they sit and they take baths in their money. That's what they do. They don't need to take a bath with that money. I want to work for this guy because this is the guy who's creating jobs. You get it? When you take more money than you're taking now, that's called a tax increase. When you're not paying $100,000 a year, but you will next year, that's a tax increase, not a tax cut. Which means that what the GOP is proposing isn't expensive at all. Because he just said that was expensive, but it's not expensive because it's exactly the same rate as it is now. So how could it be costing you money to do that? Because, wait a minute, I think I have it. It's costing you money because they want to borrow more money next year. Now, if you don't want to borrow more money next year, what do you do in your life? That's what you do, but that's not logical. That's just what you people do. Okay? So the tax cuts that they've had for the last decade would be preserved. Yours, theirs, everybody. They wouldn't be taking more money. Okay, go ahead, back to Austin.
Giving these big red eggs to the very high-income people would cost $700 billion that we would have to borrow to give it.
Why would you borrow money? Here, just don't take it. See, you're not giving it, you're just not taking it. I don't understand. This mindset's really frustrating for simpletons like me. Austin, the money Americans earn is not yours. It's not the government's money. You don't take it and then have to borrow money to give it back. What are you talking about? You're proposing taking more money from them. That's what it is. Let me show you something. Forget the little bubble thing. Here's what it is. The GOP plan, or really the Tea Party plan here, because it's less GOP. Remember, GOP is, anyway. Here's the government. As long as the government has a little ball and chain on it, when you make money, digging ditches or whatever it is you do, they don't take more money. So you keep the money you've earned. It's crazy. Here's Obama's plan. You with the shovel, but wait, where's your money? Oh, the big fat government guy just took it from you because he's giving it to somebody else. Yeah, maybe a union guy or something like that. What this is they take more of your money to spend it on the people that they like. Not you keeping your money and spending it on what you like. Let me tell you a story. My son, when he was, 2, we had some friends over, and one of the friends' name was Justin. And Rafe loved the Star Wars lightsaber. And so he took the lightsaber and he's like, it's mine. And my wife and I, Tanya, we'd have to interview and say, no, Rafe, you don't take it. That's not yours. It's Justin's. Well, it took a while to repeat that, because he was 3. Rafe learned the lesson, and it's an important concept, that what other people have is not yours. It's theirs. It'd be helpful if somebody in Washington could learn that. These aren't your toys, Austin. These aren't your toys, President Obama. This isn't your money. We'll finish this lesson. I hope I haven't lost you. Pretty complex. When we come back. The White House has made fun of me for a while now on the blackboards, making fun of the blackboards, but now they have Austin Goolsbee, the chair of Economic Council at the White House. He's doing a whiteboard, and It's completely different than the blackboard. I mean, difference is black and white. And that's it. But he wants to show you how he can tax you, or I'm sorry, save you money. He seems to think that money, your hard-earned money, and mine, is his, and the money for his government friends. Even some of the president's staunchest allies, like Chris Matthews, understand a very basic principle. Here's Chris.
He should stop saying that giving people tax cuts is giving people money. It's their money. A tax cut is when the government doesn't take our money. It's an important distinction.
Yeah. Okay. So as for costing $700 billion, how can it cost anything when the money isn't currently coming in? Isn't that like hoping that you get a $700 a month raise at work, and then suddenly one morning you rush into your boss's office and tell him, you don't give me a $700 a month raise, it's going to cost me so much money, I'm going to have to borrow $700 every month. Well, why would you have to borrow $700 every month for money you weren't getting in the first place? Here's more of Austin breaking it down for us, though.
If you ask objective economists and analysts around the country about what is effective, you will find that everyone agrees that these giant tax cuts for very high income people are the least effective thing that we can do.
Really? Which objective economists are those? And everyone agrees. Am I a tax cut denier? Is that what it is? Is this like global warming and the consensus? I wonder what you mean exactly by objective. My guess, translation, because I speak bullcrap. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I spoke bullcrap for years. Everyone who agrees, the objective economists, are the ones who agree with president's agenda on everything. Economists like, Paul Krugman, who recently told a woman who asked him, why isn't there 100% tax on the wealthy? That's a good idea. Now, while that may not be the most effective thing to do for the economy, 91%, says Paul, might be just about okay.
I think that the sort of more moderate, reasonable, although it would be denounced as socialism, communism, whatever, would be to have another one or two tax brackets further up the scale. It is worth remembering that back when we had real socialist presidents like Dwight Eisenhower, at that point the top marginal tax bracket was 91%.
Yeah, I don't think he put that in there. I think that was the progressives that did that. Gosh, simple fact is, when the taxes are lower on the wealthy, revenue increases. Happens over and over and over again. But the progressives in the media don't like you to know that. Revenue goes up. But when you're penalizing successful business people, not so much. Isn't it weird? And Barack Obama knows it. How do I know he knows? Why would the president consider taxing the wealthy more, especially in this economy? Well, I know he knows because I heard Charlie Gibson ask him about this very issue as it applied to the capital gains tax at one of the debates during the campaign. Watch this.
Bill Clinton in 1997 signed legislation that dropped the capital gains tax to 20%. Right. And George Bush has taken it down to 15%. Right. And in each instance, when the rate dropped, revenues from the tax increased. The government took in more money. And in the 1980s, when the tax was increased to 28%, the revenues went down. So why raise it at all? Especially given the fact that 100 million people in this country own stock and would be affected.
Well, Charlie, what I've said is that I would look at raising the capital gains tax for purposes of fairness.
For purposes of fairness. And at the expense of common sense fiscal policy. Now, fairness. In other words, who cares what actually works? I'm just leveling the playing field. And why is it never mentioned that, why is it never mentioned the people who employ people? The small business owner who make $250,000 or more. That's who's putting America to work. 70% of all jobs are created by these people in America. It is the medium-sized business, and yes, big businesses owned by those evil multi-millionaires. Microsoft employs 89,000 people worldwide. We've told you before, tens of thousands of millionaires come from Microsoft. their employees. Microsoft's billionaire owner, Bill Gates, has given billions of dollars to charity of his own free will. As evil as ExxonMobil is supposedly, to listen to the progressives, it employs nearly 81,000 people. Huntsman Chemical has over 11,000 employees. And as I've mentioned numerous times, John Huntsman Sr., a very good friend of mine, has donated $1.8 billion to charity out of his own personal cash. He's going to die broke because he chooses to. The rich are not the enemy. They never have been in America. They are the employers, and in many cases, they are the philanthropists. Who was it that built all the first libraries and hospitals? The poor people? It is the people that become rich in America that help us survive and thrive. That doesn't mean all rich people are good guys, but it certainly doesn't mean all rich people are bad guys. Rich people, poor people, are just people. But back to Goolsbee and his lesson.
And so what's happening in Congress is that the people that want this are saying nobody here can get any of these tax cuts unless we agree to give this big red goose egg to the people making more than $1 million a year. It doesn't make any sense. It costs too much money, and we know it doesn't work.
All of this is just not insulting. It is a lie. I mean, we're now being told they put pictures of the 828 and this thing on 10210. One of the other networks is asking you to deny your eyes now. I mean, when are people going to wake up to the lies? Extending the Bush tax cuts costs nothing extra. It has been proven over and over again that tax cuts do work. They stimulate the economy. Not tax cuts and spending. That leads to debt. Not only that, but the Democrats in Congress haven't even submitted a piece of legislation on this for the Republicans to hold up. Yes, the Republicans want the Bush tax cuts extended for everyone, but they're not holding up anything because there's nothing that has moved forward to hold up. It's a game. You're being played again. The bottom line is, you can put this presentation on a whiteboard or a blackboard, or you can put it on, billboards. You can put it on a pool hall table. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact that it is the same old class warfare, and it is a lie. They have no problem putting up their top economic advisor telling you that your money is theirs, that you have no right to it, and that a proven economic reality is fiction. Fortunately, we all have kids like mine, and hopefully we're all parents that teach our kids that somebody else's toys are not theirs. And when you have a toy, it's best to share. But nobody's going to force you to share. You get to choose when to share them and when.
The man who, quote, broke the Bank of England has a new warning, this time for America. He says America needs stimulus, not virtue. I wonder who George Soros is talking to. Next.